And I'm honored now to be joined by the governor of the great Commonwealth of Virginia, Governor Glenn Youngkin, up late with us tonight here on the Final Five. Governor, thanks for joining us. We always appreciate you taking time.
Great to be with you. Really busy in the Commonwealth today. You may have seen that we announced our first quarter numbers yesterday, and Virginia is 5% up over last year. That's a $560 million surplus over our forecast. We're as strong financially as we've ever been, and that's driven by job growth. We got lots of jobs, lots of people working, and I think Virginia has got a great future ahead of it. We just got to keep all the things that we're doing going, which is why I believe Winsome Earle-Sears is the best choice for governor.
I want to talk about that in a moment, because obviously that's a big talker in Virginia. But today, one of the things you did down in Richmond was talk about some of the gains that you made when it comes to early childhood education across the Commonwealth. Any governor, as you know, when you run for governor, education is top of mind for so many parents. How do you look at the state of Virginia schools, especially for early childhood, 4 years ago versus now towards the end of your term?
Yeah, it's just a step function change today for early childhood education and childcare. And we built on some already good work that our Department of Education was doing and launched the building blocks for Virginia families, which is a parent choice model with the ability to find the childcare that best serves your family and also have full transparency on the quality of that childcare. And so today, Virginia families can go onto the DOE website and see the childcare that's available near them, see the assessment of that childcare, and pick what's best for them. We have 75,000 slots that we support through the Commonwealth of Virginia. We've increased our investment in childcare because it's so important for birth through 5 kids to get a great start. On top of that is a giant driver of workforce development so that both moms and dads can participate in this thriving economy that we built. And finally, when we have great early childhood education, we can see students do so much better when they get to kindergarten, so that we can have this great economy supported by great students who can read and write and do math in 3rd grade and prevail against what I believe is a real challenging education situation today, where we have China and all the foreign countries doing so much to drive their education opportunities, and Virginia needs to keep up but lead as well. And that's what this is all about. We've been rated the top education in the country recently, and I'm proud to say that our early childhood education is a giant contributor to that.
When you look at what the situation was education-wise, not necessarily for younger Virginians, but for school-age students, you took office during the COVID pandemic. Virginia was making some gains. COVID did a number for a lot of school kids, public, private, you name it, in terms of learning loss, getting them back into the classroom. Do you feel like that kind of stunted the growth, and maybe you'd like to see numbers a bit further than where they are right now?
Well, the reality is that even before COVID, the previous administrations had reduced expectations of excellence in schools, and Virginia students were already challenged when it comes to being proficient in reading and math, particularly. And then COVID hit, and they shut down all the schools and told everybody that a 12-inch screen was a quality education. And when I came in, Virginia was named as having the largest learning loss in the country. And that's why we went to work to, one, fund intensive tutoring, and to make sure that we were reducing chronic absenteeism. And Virginia led the nation in reducing chronic absenteeism, getting the kids back in school. And on top of that, we expect more out of our students today. In the most recent round of SOL tests, we made the tests harder, and guess what? The students did better. This is all about opening up multiple pathways for students to take full advantage of the great opportunities in the Commonwealth of Virginia. And I'm so excited about the transparency, but also the excellent opportunities that are available to students all across the Commonwealth today.
So one of the things you backed was pay raises for teachers along the way, and there's also been, I know the administration has found itself at loggerheads with certain teachers unions along the way, and obviously that's something that they normally advocate as well. Have you found yourself, I guess, was that an adversarial relationship dealing with some of these teachers unions along the way and trying to achieve some of these goals that you were aiming towards?
Well, the teachers unions have never really supported me on much of anything. But the reality is that we have increased teacher pay in the Commonwealth of Virginia on a compounded basis, nearly 20% during our administration. Recently, in a survey, we were rated as the best state in America to be a teacher. And we have seen that translate into a meaningful reduction in teacher vacancies in the Commonwealth of Virginia. The net of it is we have teachers in the classrooms that are paid well, and they deserve it. But on top of that, our students are learning what they need to learn in order to succeed in life. They're learning how to think. They're making sure that they can read and write in 3rd grade. They're driving towards algebra in the 8th grade. And when they graduate, they are fully prepared to either go to one of our great universities or to go straight to work, or of course, enter the military. And those are readiness skills that are needed for life. Just recently, we were able to survey and found that 79% of Virginia high school students graduated with an industry recognized credential or a certificate, enabling them to go to work right away if they choose, or go to one of our great universities and continuing their education, or our community colleges. So we're preparing our children for life, and that's the most important step. High expectations and a preparation for great opportunities, because they're here in the Commonwealth of Virginia.
So there are two things that you did as governor. That one is, I got a lot of bipartisan support in that, banning cell phones, telling school districts across the Commonwealth, get the cell phones out of the classroom, which kind of surprised me that they were still allowed in classrooms anywhere. Something we've seen you do, we've seen Democratic governors do. That gets a lot of praise. The other thing that's been controversial, I guess depending on where you look at it, is what we've seen playing out in many Northern Virginia school districts. You put out these guidelines. You wanted to see some sort of policy when it comes to gender identity, locker rooms, bathrooms. A lot of these districts have said, we're not going to do it. They're foregoing they could forego federal funding here. That's putting them in what I believe could be a very tough decision there. So what's your message to those districts that say we're going to continue, we're going to go against Title IX, which I know is a federal program, but still something that you have been quite vocal on?
Yeah, both of those examples are great examples of common sense. First, that cell phones are distracting. They cause mental health challenges. And on top of that, we see grades deflate when cell phone use goes up. And so when we were able to establish cell phone free education and make sure that students aren't distracted by their cell phones, we see academic performance go up, mental health challenges go down, and disruptions in the classroom go down. This is good for our students. And I was really pleased that my executive order that I signed summer before last put all of this in motion. And then finally, when it comes to the privacy and the dignity and the safety of our children, they should be allowed to go to the restroom that is their biological restroom and feel safe. And to enable biological men to go into the restroom or locker room with girls is absolutely nuts in my view. We've seen predators chase after girls in those bathrooms. We have even seen 2 biological boys pursued by Loudoun County when a biological girl filmed them because they were confused why she was in the bathroom with them. Listen, we need to have boys in boys bathrooms and girls in girls bathrooms. If we need different bathrooms, go build new bathrooms for folks. But at the end of the day, the safety of our children is what we're talking about here. And as parents, all parents in Northern Virginia want their children to be safe. And when we're putting biological boys in bathrooms with biological girls, or biological boys on sports with biological girls, it's just not safe. And so let's go ahead and have some common sense here. And let's have boys and boys bathrooms and girls bathrooms. And as I said, if you need other bathrooms, go ahead and build some new ones. But let's make sure we're looking after the safety of our children first and foremost.
All right, last thing here, as mentioned, you're nearing the end of your term, and I'm not going to ask about what you're going to do when you leave office, but I know that you have a vested interest, as mentioned, in who fills that office after you leave, in your Lieutenant Governor, Winsome Earle-Sears. As you look at where things stand right now in that race, there's been a lot of activity, not just in the governor's race, but in the lieutenant governor's race and the attorney general's race. Why is the lieutenant governor the best choice to continue what you have done so far?
Well, as you said, the momentum in this race has totally shifted over the last few weeks. And of course, so much of it is because Jay Jones, the Democrat candidate for attorney general, clearly said that he wanted to put 2 bullets in the head of our former Speaker of the House and watch his children die in his mother's arms, and then a few cops need to die. And this is a demented statement from someone who wants to be the top cop. And that's why Jason Miyares, who is the best attorney general in America, in my view, has rocketed into a lead, and why we've seen the polls for governor tighten so much. Because Abigail Spanberger can't bring herself to show the courage and moral clarity to ask Jay Jones to step down. She wants him to serve as attorney general. Can you imagine? Can you imagine this guy serving as attorney general? And for Abigail Spanberger not to have the courage to say, you need to step down, I think is reflective of the fact that she will not lead. And in fact, the toughest issues, we have to protect right to work in Virginia and make sure that we don't have forced unionization so we can continue to have job growth. We need to make sure that law enforcement trusts the governor and lieutenant governor and attorney general. And law enforcement will not trust Abigail Spanberger or Jay Jones. And then finally, we need to make sure that we're investing in the key areas and key priorities and holding parents at the head of the table in their children's lives while we fund our public school systems. And I know Winsome Earle-Sears will do this. Those are the primary reasons why this race has tightened up so much and why I believe everyone should vote for Winsome. The net of it is we have had great success in Virginia the last 4 years, and it can continue if we stay with the policies that have led us there. But if we take a left turn and head towards anti-business, deflating expectations in schools and anti-law enforcement approach, then we'll see Virginia go back to where she was, which is bottom third in the nation in job growth when we came in, a 20-year high in murder rate when we came in, and the largest learning loss in the country when we came in. Virginians don't want this. Trust Winsome Earle-Sears. She'll do a great job.
I want to point out earlier in the summer, the Virginia Police Benevolent Association endorsed Spanberger, but of course that was before the Jay Jones story broke, and there have been many law enforcement officials across Virginia asking him to step aside. Just wanted to point that out. Governor, I appreciate your time. Thank you so much, and we appreciate you joining us here on Fox 5.
Great. And I would just add, sheriffs, the Fraternal Order of Police, and the Police Benevolent Association have said to Jay Jones, he's unfit to serve as attorney general. And the bottom line is now there's huge pressure on Abigail Spanberger to withdraw her endorsement of Jay Jones because law enforcement will not trust her.
Governor, thank you very much.
Great. Thank you.
And we're back after this.